Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back. It is late Friday night. Really not late. It's 9:48, 10 o'clock is late for me. But listen, you guys already know why we are here. We are here to talk about the season finale for season 4 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. This is the final episode of the season, episode 10, and it's called Gimme the Weight. It should have been titled Pointless. It should have been titled Nonsense, Waste of Time, Missed Opportunity. It should have been titled all of those things. And you guys know I have rode hard for season 4. I have rode hard for season 4, but to get to episode 10 and to just to check out on this episode so poorly, and you know, Sasha, how much we love this show, and I just don't think that you did your best for this episode 10, especially since we now know that season 5 is going to be the last season of Raising Kanan, right? So you have an opportunity to have maximum impact on ending this series with a bang. This 10 was going to be is really pivotal. Okay? Not to prove a point, not to you know, create this cliffhanger type, you know what I'm saying? Like this faux tense moment. No, this was an opportunity to complete a story up until this point, which has been, for the most part, told well. Season 5 is it. There's only 10 episodes. You've already created a scenario where episode 1 in season 5 is going to have to be mostly flashbacks, which is the same thing you did in season 4, Sasha. I don't have a lot of notes. I should be slanging and banging notes. Look at all this. Look at empty space. It's no point. It's no point, right? I'm so disappointed, you guys. I want to know what you all think. Okay. Season 5 is the last a season for Raising Kanan, and ideally we're supposed to be going into Origins. Origins has not been picked up as a bona fide series yet. From what I understand, it has not been picked up as a bona fide series yet, right? And I think, you know, you're wrapping up all of these other um legs of the franchise, and you're trying to pour all your energy into Origins, and it hasn't even picked up as a series. Raising Kanan is your most popular, from what I have read. Raising Kanan is your most popular leg of the franchise outside of the original Power. Why wouldn't you put your all into that as a homage, as a thank you, as a matter of respect for the viewers who love the show? And don't get me wrong, I enjoy season 4. I enjoyed season 4. I learned a lot from season 4. And maybe that's why I'm belly aching so hard, is because I had great expectations for season 4, not knowing season 5 was the last season. Had no idea. I didn't find that out till today. Okay. I enjoy season 4. But for you to get to this point, how did I enjoy season episode 9 more than episode 10? And episode 10 is your season finale. Sasha, come on now. Come on. It's disrespectful. You phoned it in. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I said it before, I'll say it again. You shot a whole bunch of ish. You shot it and you have pieced it together. And up until this point, You did an okay job of it. But what you did in episode 10, I cannot respect. I cannot respect. I cannot respect it. You phoned it in. It's not right. Season 5 is the last season. You're supposed to put everything you have in season 5, not dragging 4 into 5. Pointless. It's pointless. If 5 is the end, give us pure Kanan. Give us pure Kanan. You're not gonna be able to give us pure Kanan with all these Thomases running around. And that's just facts. That's just facts. All right, let's talk about it real quick. This ain't gonna be hard. It was lackluster. It was a lackluster finale. It was way too much repeated dialogue. Half of the conversations we had in episode 10, we've already had in episode 1 through 9. Some variation of it. We've had it. Right? It was unnecessary. It was filler. And anytime you say filler, you might as well say lazy, Sasha. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know you'll never show up on my show. I already know that. But the truth gotta be told. You know what I'm saying? Tough titty said the kitty, but the milk tastes good. You know what I'm saying? You might as well go and take this tongue lashing. You might as well go and take it. It was a disservice to the fans. Major letdown. Let's talk about Juke. Juke has a very detailed conversation in episode 10 with Rock, and it was one of my favorite scenes. That and the conversation, two of my favorite scenes, really was in relation to Rock. So Juke meet Rock at Lamont's, and she asked her flat out about Crystal. She asked her flat out about Fame, which I thought she was gonna go harder on the Fame situation, because Juke was more upset about what was going on with Fame than Kanan was, really. All right. It's just crazy because they did the memorial for Fame and all of this stuff, and Juke kind of crashed out a little bit on the dudes at the basketball court and carrying on and so on and so forth. And Lou's supposed to be so devastated and upset about Fame and all of that, but the family never comes together as one to really go and find out what happened with Fame. Okay, they don't. Period. Juke and Kanan spent a good bit of season 4 talking about it, and that's pretty much it, right? But she has a good conversation with Rock. She takes Rock to task about it. Rock assures her no, she did not kill Crystal, and she didn't kill Fame, and she was like, when they was homeless in the homeless shelter, they stayed with us. Okay, which is crazy because they were really small children. When they did the flashback with Fame being in the homeless shelter with his mama and his sister, he was a young kid. I mean, he couldn't have been 8 if he was 8. You know what I'm saying? He was. It's weird, but anyway, um, and she was like, Juke, you need to tread lightly here, because she felt like she was being accused, and I could expect that from Kanan, but not you, Juke. You know me, and Juke just went into this diatribe about how the thing about it is she was forgotten and ignored. And you guys know I've already talked about my feelings for the Juke character. I think she was underdeveloped and underutilized. I enjoyed her, in the franchise, but still, I felt bad for the Juke character, right? How they treated her. And she pretty much goes over that. Being ignored. The only time you looked at me is if I was sitting next to Kanan. And the good thing about being ignored and being the quiet one is that you notice everybody and don't nobody notice you. So I've seen a lot of the stuff y'all did, which is why, more than anything, you know that your aunt did not do this. Okay? Still, really, really great conversation. I enjoyed it. That was one of my favorite conversations, was the conversation between Juke and Rock. Okay. Then she has another conversation with the butter manager. Why are we wasting our dialogue? Why are we wasting a season finale with this conversation. This woman has Aisha and Juke there, and she is trying to console them about Crystal. You talk to them girls like they was trash. It was an opportunity, and as soon as it got a little shaky, you bailed on this group. Juke, Juke, baby, where you at, Juke? Where you at? It was the most insincere, disingenuous. Why? What's the point? We don't even know this woman. We don't even know this lady. And Juke gives her a little attitude, and she was like, baby, you changed. You different now. And she was like, no, I was different then. I'm the same I've always been now. Okay. I feel like we've had this conversation before. We had it at the dessert shop when she was talking to Aisha, right? We've had this conversation when Marvin, she took the gun and all of this stuff, and they unalived Mara's husband. She had the same kind of conversation with Marvin. We've gone over this. This is repeated dialogue, you guys. This is repeated dialogue, right? You just introduce somebody else to bring the conversation up, but it's pointless. We could have been doing so many other things than this scene. Then we see Juke in the bed with Aisha. That went on way too long. I did like the conversation she had about um Marvin, the fact that that's her dad, and he changed everything for her, and he's riding for her, and she's not gonna leave and go and be in Spelman with Aisha and leave her daddy there. He didn't leave her, and she not gonna leave him. Great conversation, great conversation, but to what end? In season 5, you're not going to remember this conversation that she is having in season 4. It's only relevant in season 4, but it falls flat, you guys. It falls flat because absolutely nothing imperative happens with the Marvin character in season 5, in season 4. Am I making myself clear? What is the reason in all of this dialogue about not leaving Marvin, standing by Marvin? Marvin's a great dad. I mean, she then has a conversation with Marvin. She asked Marvin about her dad if he think that Rock did these things to Fame and to Crystal, and Marvin said absolutely not, and I would know. Absolutely not, and I would know. She was like, well, I think he was like, let me tell you something. I'm telling you, Rock did not do this. Rock would not do this. Right? Do you take that information back to Kanan? You do not. But it's already been proven that you can't talk to Kanan. Right? Now he's determined to make it look like he finna do something to his mother. Okay. So that was basically Juke. That was basically Juke. Then we see where Unique child. Ugh. The episode kind of opened with Unique, Rock and Lou go to see Unique. And the best part about this scene is that Rock and Lou were unmoved, right? Because the dialogue that Unique is having is so juvenile. It's juvenile. It is not indicative of the Unique character. The unique character, although he's a thug and been in them streets, so on and so forth, highly intelligent individual. Now he has had a bit of a brain injury. All right. But we've seen even in season 4, post brain injury, we still got an intelligent, dialogue wise Unique. So to get in this moment, and he spends the whole time talking about how him and Rock used to sleep together, and Rock like it rough. I'm like, can we get down to business? Can we talk about business? What is we doing here? What is we doing? And she was like, I need you to stay out of my businesses. You know what I'm saying? I need you to ease up a little bit, or this gonna be war. He was like, yeah, you didn't say that when I was blowing your back out. Did your sister tell you that I was blowing her back out? She like it rough. I was just like, point. I did like the fact that Lou and Rock didn't budge. You know what I'm saying? all this petty dialogue. They wasn't moved by it at all. And to me, that was going hard. Like that's strong Thomas behavior. Okay. So we cut the commercial and come back, and he's still on this. Yeah, did she tell you that she like it rough and she wanted me to hit it harder? And I was like, where are we? What is going? Child, it was if you phoned it in. You phoned it in. You phoned it in. This is the dialogue. This is the conversation. You got your enemy in your camp, and this is it. Come on now, you guys. Come on. Come on. So finally, Rock does what needs to be done. She ends and puts us out of our misery with this scene. And she let him know, yo, you want war? You want war? I got your war. I got your war. Now, you've been warned, ninja. You've been warned. All right? And they go on out. Now, she pissed, but she hold it till she get outside. And I can appreciate that. I wouldn't have gave him no type of life with that conversation he was having. You childish and you talk too doggone much. Ooh, I can't stand a ninja that want to tell everything. It just gets on my nerves. Speaking of which, Lou, you talk too much. You talking this much and you sober. I can just imagine all the stuff you said drunk as Cooter Brown. Kanan come over and he want to talk about the fact that he think that Rock bop bop bop, and everybody know Rock ain't did nothing. Everybody knows it, Kanan. You the only one that believes this. Just an idiot. Anyway, Luke takes it upon himself to tell Kanan about what Rock did with his grandmama. I didn't know everybody was gonna know. I thought Marvin was just giving her a hint. It was gonna be between her and Marvin, but it seemed like everybody know that Rock unalive the grandmother. Now he told it in a very empathetic way, but why would you tell his boy this? And he didn't already let you know he don't trust his own mama as it pertains to his best friend and his girl's death. You throw another log on the fire by telling Kanan. Go sit down, Lou. Go sit down. Lou also kidnaps Pernessa and Jerome. Nothing comes of it. Just put them in the car and drive off. Nothing comes of it in season 4. All of this dialogue, all of this chatter that goes nowhere at all. Okay, and we still don't know what's going on with Pernessa and Jerome. We had about, if the episode is 100%, we had 60% dialogue and 40% action. I won't even say 40. 80-20. Let's do 80-20. 80% dialogue that went nowhere, repeated, and 20% action. The whole episode slanging and banging from the window to the wall should have been action to propel us into the series finale. Let's go back to Unique. Okay. He goes over to see Sal's widow. It was the silliest scene. It was creepy. And I bet you somewhere on the cutting room floor is a scene where they had Unique kiss that white woman. The way he was all up on her and she was all up on him, that level of affection, first of all, it would have never happened, number one. Number two, it was creepy. Creepy. It's no way in the world you ought to be caught. Anyway, somewhere on the cutting room floor is a scene where they done put this woman with this Unique. Sal's widow with Unique. Somewhere. I promise you. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But okay. It was nonsensical. She decides she gonna go and talk to Russo and pressure Russo. So Russo decides he's gonna give the thumbs up on Unique's war with Rock. Again, later on, Lou, as retaliation, kidnaps Pernessa and Jerome. Mind you, now Unique has gotten a thumbs up, so he around here bombing all the Asian restaurants. Uh he bombed the fish store, Stefano's fish store, all of this stuff. Okay, and Rock kidnaps. It has Lou kidnap Pernessa and Jerome. It's up in the air. It's up in the air. Hopefully, y'all remember when we finally do get to season 5 next summer, next spring. Y'all will remember that Pernessa and Jerome was kidnapped. Pernessa and Jerome should have been kidnapped in episode 8 or episode 9 of season 4. I digress. Stefano meets up with Russo and they trying to figure this thing out. Stefano, who is good for a light threat, he love a threat. Love to threaten. Right? Marvin goes to see Stefano and try to fix this whole early situation. And Stefano is just like, it's pointless. If you guys talking to me about it, it's pointless, right? And then he said, you know what? I just don't want anything to do with any of y'all, your whole entire family. And I'm not doing the trucks. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing anything. He said, you might go. You're being dismissed. And he's getting escorted out. But Marvin turns around and says again to him, please, we can work this out. We can get this fixed. You know, and he lets Marvin know this your problem. This your fault. I told you that from the beginning. Later on, Stefano secretly meets with Russo because their guys don't like each other. They don't want them to get along, right? And they don't want that contention. So they meet up in the park. And like I said, Stefano, he really think a lot more highly of himself than he ought. Because the whole time you threatening the dry snitch on the fact that Russo is the one that had you go and get rid of Sal. And you threatening to let folks know that really it was Russo behind it. And Russo was like, okay, well, that's fine. We're gonna be fine. And we're gonna, this call a spade and bop bop bop. And he hauls off and stabs Stefano. Now Stefano don't die, but he leave him there to die. He don't die. He hanging on and clinging to dear life in the hospital, which means we gonna see him or hear about him or flashback on him in season 5. You dragging so much it from 4 uncompleted stories into 5. When are you gonna have time to tell the story? The story everybody's been waiting on. The introduction of Tommy, the introduction of I just is it me? Am I the one? Am I the villain? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, going back to Marvin, that's Stefano. Going back to Marvin, we see where he unalives early. It was very anticlimactic. Um, it was very quick. It was over super duper quick. There wasn't a lot of dialogue, which is the only part that I really appreciated. We didn't have to bemoan that whole situation. We see where he talks to Rock again, repeated dialogue. He's already had these conversations with Rock. And we spent such a huge amount of time repeating some of these same narratives about Marvin, right? This was going somewhere. It was ultimately going to a place where we see the end or the demise of the Marvin character. For whatever reason, they did not want to do it in this season. And you guys know it's not about me being right. Y'all know I will digress. Y'all know I don't mind being I have no problem being wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I say it. All right. Um, I think the ultimate goal was to unalive Marvin, and I think they're gonna roll it into season 5, which again is nonsensical because season 5 should be chock full of the series finale, right? Like we need to be wrapping up all types of of loose ends in 4 because season 5 need to be all about Breeze, um, Kanan, Tommy, Ghost. You only get 10 episodes. You only get 10 episodes. And I don't even think the episodes are 40 minutes. I mean, an hour. I think they're 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time to be flashing back to 4, wrapping up 4. 4 should have been wrapped up in episode 10, you guys. Ooh, I'm so upset. So upset. Okay. So they have a really, really bad fight. But again, we've done it already. It was no reason for us to go back over through that. Okay. We see where he facilitates the rehoming of Amber. Okay. And then later on we see the scene where Marvin was supposed to be unalive. He doesn't. Um, he survives a drive-by. That's Marvin, right? Let's talk about Rock and then we're gonna talk about Kanan, you guys. Okay, so um Rock goes and meets with the Asian boss. This is one of my second favorite scenes, and she tells him, you know, he was like, David, Quan, all of these things, all of this violence, all of this death, and Terry, and all of this. He said, I'm out. And she was like, no, I told you, you don't get jumped in and out like that. And she was like, well, you don't care anything about your life. What about your family's life? And he was like, I had my family sent back to China last last week. He said, I'm old. I don't care what happens. He said, but I'm not doing business with you no more. And she was just like, I don't appreciate. And we had a deal and we could get all this worked out. And you don't know that all these debts had anything to do with me. And he was like, you know what? In Chinese mythology, there's a demon that kills, destroys, chaos, demon, so on and so forth. It's faceless. It don't have no facial features, anything like that, right? And he said the saddest thing is not about all the evil and the chaos that this demon causes. It's the fact that the demon can't see itself. It does not know, it can't see the type of monster that it really is. And it was just like something that kind of shook Rock to her core, right? These are the glimpses of great writing that we have had the occasion to see in Sasha Penn, right? But when you run at a fevered pitch to wrap something up the way you did in this episode, in this season finale episode, it just diminishes that those little glimpses of great writing. It just diminishes it. So the Rock character was shocked by it. I thought it was a good moment. It was one of my favorite scenes, and I did enjoy that. Okay. We see where, um, like I said, she hard on Marvin, and then later on we see where Rock is easy on Kanan. It is a very tender moment. That last scene between her and Kanan, right? From the Rock character. You guys know I'm biased to the Rock character. I really, really like the Rock character. And I love what she gave this season. In previous seasons, I've already talked about that. She just did a beautiful job in that ending scene. And if it wasn't for that level of acting that we were getting from Patina Miller in the last scene of this episode, okay, that whole scene would have been a bust. The what she did with that, her part in that last scene was brilliant. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And we're gonna talk about it. Let's go on and wrap up with Kanan. All right. So Kanan is consistently talking to Snaps and Pops. I'm not impressed with the Snaps and Pops character. I love Wendell Pierce. I think he's really, really great, a good actor. I really enjoyed him, but he just pontificates way too much, way too much. And you want to give this ideal that you're this brilliance, that this is a character, him and Pops are brilliant, but it don't take nothing to manipulate children. I see you ain't spending no time manipulating grown folks. Just high school boys. It's fine. Whatever. So they go and reiterate the fact that Rock has something to do with fame and what he gonna do about it. And Kanan's kind of snappy about it. It don't matter. They want to introduce him to their nephew. Their nephew's name is Bradford, aka Breeze. When they meet in town to meet Breeze, he pull up in a little red car. He get out and he got about 6 to 8 inches of gum and teeth. He gets out of a little red car. He's got the goofiest, corniest, Fat Albert hat on. I'm like, this is can't be the Breeze character. The Breeze character, the way they presented it, he was stoic and wise, and he taught Kanan everything he knows, and so on and so forth. Where y'all get this little goofy, corny, scrawny? What was that hat, you guys? What was the hat he had on? It looked ridiculous. And then they gonna stand there and kind of like size each other up. I'm like, so we got Breeze. It was so anticlimactic. It was so underwhelming. It could have been done better. Oh my gosh, this episode really let me down, you guys. Like I said, Kanan refuses to believe that Rock is innocent. The police, Garcia, essentially. There's no other people working on this case, right? It ain't but one cop in all of Queens, and that's Garcia. Period. All right. He tell Jude that a black woman was seen coming out the building. It's a black neighborhood. It's a black neighborhood. It would have been. I mean, did it happen in Newark in uh, Manhattan? It's a black neighborhood, of course. It's black men and women coming in and out of the building everywhere. What are you talking about? It was a black woman. See, what kind of poor oh. Then Kanan goes and visits Crystal's stepdaddy again. To what end? He didn't know nothing the first time when your mama, why Molly whopped him and timmed him up? What make you think he knows something now and he know what everybody know? Crystal's gone. Gone. What are you doing there? What was the point? You gonna let me know if you hear anything about Crystal? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why is Crystal's dad got a scene? You might as well have brought Crystal back for a scene. Flashback with Crystal. Child, it was the stupidest moment. I was just like, what the deuce is going on here? Oh, yeah. Finally, Kanan decides he talked to Juke. He was like, I know what I gotta do. And Juke tried to stop him. He got his gun. Then he kind of flinch up on Juke. First of all, Juke will mollywop you within an inch of your life, Kanan. Everybody knows that Juke is the one that's got the cock and balls. Everybody knows that. Not you. You trying to give us this moment. Oh, he take his gun and go over to his mama's house. Let himself in. Everybody let themselves in over at Rocks. Right? You bought this big, beautiful house and ain't got nary lock on the doors of the windows. She taking a drink because you know what I'm saying? This thing's about to get goodly. You know what I'm saying? She got all this product and no way to move it. She having her a stiff drink. Here he come in with a gun pull. You didn't even have to come in the door with this gun. You didn't even have to come in the door with this gun. You just being there. You got the gun on you. Why you got to have it pointed? Because they're trying to give us this idea that Kanan is this formidable foe. Nobody's buying it. We also not buying the Breeze character. You have no one to blame but yourself, Sasha. It's the writing. It's the writing, right? Always do everything you got to do in the spirit of excellence. So Same conversation we always been having. Like you, I loved Fame, like you love D Wiz, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Like you did my dad, like you did this person and that person. He doesn't bring up Granny though. That was odd. And she's just like Kanan. There's nothing more I can do. You got a gun pulled on me. She take her another sip of her dog liquor, baby, and put that glass down and walk up on him. And she's just like, if this what you want to do, if you determine I cannot stop you, there's nothing I can do about this, right? And but she lets him know you're my world. You have always been my world. You have always been the most important person to me. Okay. And then she just relaxes and she looks him in the eyes and she closes her eyes. It's nothing she could do about it. Nothing she could do about it, really. And Makai, the actor who plays Kanan, he's got, he's giving us these squints, these looks like, that is supposed to hold the tension of the moment, like he is deadly serious. But I'm still in the moment not buying it. I do not believe Kanan unalives Rock. I don't believe it. I'm prepared to be wrong. You guys know that. I don't believe it. The scene goes black. Um, 50 Cent the narrator 50 Cent comes on and says, and what, basically, and the episode goes off. That's the end of the season. Otherwise, great season, you guys. But this is how they choose to end it. I think it's pointless. I think it was a missed opportunity. And it was such a disappointment, you guys. It was such a disappointment. And you guys know I have rode for season 4, right? I can appreciate what Sasha Penn built, but to get to this season 4, season uh, season 4 episode season 4 season finale in episode 10 and jump the shark like this, unacceptable. You guys tell me what you think. Put it down below. Until next time, honeybees.